Esposito for MTV News here in Denver, Colorado, where Radiohead has graced the stage at the Red Rocks Amphitheater. For the next hour, it's going to be all about Radiohead, played in full. Hear from the band themselves as they sat down to talk with us about their new album, Amnesiac, what it's like to be back on tour for the first time in 3 years, plus you'll get the answer to all those bizarre questions that you wanted to ask the band yourself, and an exclusive sneak peek at Radiohead live from Red Rocks.
Everyone around, yeah. Everyone is so near. It's hard and hard. It's hard and hard.
At the break of the early 90s, 5 Oxford school friends in a struggling rock band called On a Friday swapped their name for the moniker Radiohead. With their debut album, 1993's Pablo Honey, Radiohead was propelled into the spotlight on the momentum of their hit Creep, an anthem to self-loathing that prompted skeptical critics to write the band off as a one-hit wonder. By 1995, grunge and alt-rock had passed their prime, and Radiohead adapted accordingly. The band released The Bends, which shored them a cult fan base. But it would be their third record, 1997's OK Computer, that changed everything. Critics heaped superlatives on the album, crowning Radiohead the saviors of rock and pushing them to new levels of fame and exposure. The stress of sudden superstardom nearly split the band apart. Utterly spent after their '98 tour, Radiohead went on hiatus, emerging from their studio 2 years later with the curious and bewitching Kid A. While eager fans helped Kid A debut at #1 in the US, the band chose not to take their electronic experiment out on the road. But by summer of 2001, Radiohead are ready to tour, thanks to some time off and the widespread success of Kid A and its counterpart album Amnesiac, which is, of course, what brings us to Colorado one summer night. Well, I'm really excited that you guys agreed to do this. We have a whole lot of material to run through, and we pulled a bunch of questions from your fans, so thank you for sitting down with us, and let's get started. Now, you recorded all of the songs for both Kid A and Amnesiac in one session.
Yes, we did, although some people seem to think that Amnesiac was like a panic reaction to Kid A, especially in Britain, which is hilarious. Because
really? Why do you think they get that impression?
Well, because
it came out so soon after the last one. Probably. No, sorry, I was being flippant.
Yeah, well, they obviously didn't realise it was done at the same time.
Why didn't you release Kid A and Amnesiac as a double album?
Because it wouldn't have worked. Quite simply, it just wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't. You know, double albums, a lot of songs on there. You have to work. You know, the tendency of a double album is that if there's quite dense material in there, you tend to skip it. You tend to move on. Yeah. And we were adamant that on these songs that, you know, we realised that maybe on first listen it wouldn't come to you, but it warranted coming back to it. And it wouldn't have happened if we put it on a double album.
If we put it all together, it would be massive overload.
It would have been too much, yeah.
Can you tell me the story behind Pyramid Song?
Yeah, it's sort of difficult to explain though. It's funny because that song literally took 5 minutes to write, but yet it came from all these mad places. You know what I mean? Sort of like something that I never thought I could actually get across in a song and lyrically, and sort of managed it, and I was really, really chuffed. And it was just lots of stuff about Hawkins.
Stephen Hawkins.
You know, he talks about time and the idea that time is completely cyclical. Just is going. It's always doing this. It's just it's a factor like gravity, and it just sort of it's something that I found in like Buddhism and stuff as well, and that's what Pyramid Song is about. Pyramid Song is about the fact that everything is going in circles. It's not a desperate attempt to avoid the death. It's not a desperate attempt to avoid life passing you by, getting old, all that sort of stuff. It's like, that's all just bollocks. It's great. It's this really beautiful thing that's just going round and round and round.
It seems like Radiohead right now is the only major label band that's really allowed to take these huge artistic and stylistic risks. Why is that?
Not for any longer. I think.
We ended up on the wrong side of the fence when the bombs went off.
Well, also the economics of the fact, you know, OK Computer sells 4.5 million records, so it gives you some leeway.
But not everyone who sells 5 million albums decides to go into a studio and play around with noise and tone down guitars, and
They don't have to.
That's their prerogative. That's fine.
We dreamt about doing this. Even before we signed, we talked about this. I mean, all these things sort of bizarrely enough came to fruition, and it was kind of like, oh yeah, okay, we can actually do this now. So, what can we spend some money on? And we bought a studio, and it's great. We piled it full of beats.
It's great.
It's great, and we put up, and it's studio. We're not, the thing is, for years we sort of like felt guilty about doing this stuff, or we didn't have the means to do it. But now it's kind of like, why not? What the hell?
do you ever worry that by experimenting so much, like you have on Kid A and Amnesiac, that you'll ever lose some of your fans?
But no, Kid A and Amnesiac were not that much of an experiment. Really, they weren't. I mean, it's like it's not rocket science. It's not. Compared with the music that we listen to, it's like it's pretty mild. So
wanted to be obscure, we'd do a much better job of it.